Live from the Icebox Studio in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania, it's the Bill and Corey Show!
I'm Bill.
And I'm Corey.
Welcome back. Another episode of the Bill and Corey Show. Sorry, there's no magic tricks this week with CO2 and no funny costumes, so we just have to rely on our... we've got a kitchen sink full of props today. First question is, it's some people asking about, could we set a different maximum delivery pressure on our regulators? Like, if you got a regulator that's, one of our most popular ones is 125 PSI delivery pressure. And some customers might want to limit it for whatever their process is to like 80 PSI or 70 PSI. Well, there's two different, sorry about the regulators. I'll bring out a couple. I got a lot of I got tools here.
Hickeys.
And some of these are mine, and some are not. And hopefully I got all my tools out here. But there's really kind of two different ways to limit the delivery pressure, and it depends kind of on the regulator. This is one of our economy regulators. And with the economy regulator, the adjustment screw is part of the knob. Oh, I already put the washers in there. That was cheating. So I don't know if you can, you want to zoom in on that? Really can't see that much on there. So there's a little screw that's already part of the knob. So you can't really put any nuts in there or stuff. So what we do if someone wants to limit delivery pressure is we put washers in there. And these are, you can put metal washers in there.
If you want. They make clanging sounds, I've heard.
Yeah, and we had a customer complain that they clanged a little bit. So we can also use, these are CGA, you can pull back from get the main screen.
I mean, any washer that kind of fits in
it has to be big enough hole. We happen to have the CGA 705 washer is big enough because these are bigger screws than our higher purity regulators. So you can we kind of do it by trial and error. You can just stack washers on there.
And in this case, I want to point out, you can only set the max lower. You can't set it higher.
Right, you can't set it higher. It can only be lower. So
yeah.
You'd play around with it a little bit, and our technicians are probably really good. I bet they can just guess the pressure and how many washers they got to put in there. So they put it in there. What that does is that limits how far you can crank in your knob.
And you can easily do this on your own as well.
Yeah, you do it on, just get some CGA 705, or if you want to
And the best way to do it is, with gas in it, so you can see how you adjust it.
Yeah, you have to do it with gas.
Yeah. I'm just pointing out.
Yeah, it's an important thing. Yes. Yeah. When we're setting the pressure, we're not just going to toss some washers.
And be like, oh, this seems good.
We're going to pressurize up the regulator and crank it in to make sure we get the delivery pressure we want. And the other way, this is our higher purity regulators.
And this is the screw that holds the knob in, right?
Yeah, well, this is the screw. This screw is the one that sets the delivery pressure. Okay. And it holds the knob on.
And it holds the knob, that's right, yeah.
So it's got a lot of nuts on there.
That regulator's nuts.
Yeah, the regulator's nuts. So the technician would take the knob off. We have a special tool to take the knob off so we don't damage it, because it's unless you got really strong grip.
Got to work out with those.
Yeah, you work out with those things.
With the fist clenchers or whatever.
I don't know if it's going to work. So yes, we have a special tool, but for us to do it here. But if you have a way to safely get this off, then you can do it.
One of those jar openers strap things for the pickle jar.
Well, they still might damage. It's plastic. So, anyways, so you'd use a Allen wrench, hex wrench, and you would adjust it. You have gas going in. You hook gas up to here, and then you'd adjust the pressure.
Hopefully your gauge is on tighter.
Yeah, this is just, I just threw this one together. This is not a real regulator. It's from our carefully curated engineering museum. So I just, don't even look at the gauges.
Well, except if you're doing this because you want to know.
Well, I know. This is just a demo one. So what you do is you'd...
crank it down a little bit.
Yeah, you crank it down.
Can you crank it out a little bit on this one, or no? Like, what if you wanted it at 130 max after 125?
You're probably not. There's probably not going to be enough threads.
Okay.
That's a good question, though. There's probably not enough threads when you put the knob on. So you'd set that down to your pressure. Well, this is already set. The second screw in there.
Lock, stock.
And then what they do is they don't tighten it down this way. A little trick. They back it off a little bit, And then they use wrenches. These happen to be 11/16 wrenches. Oh, sorry. So they put that, I got that, this one's too wide. So they put it on there and just, come on, man. There we go. It's hard to do when I don't have.
You got the right
There.
side. There we
just
go.
kind of lock them together. And then you'd have the knob on there. Oh, I always forget this. Before you put the knob on, they put the screw in there, and a little trick of the trade. And you don't have to try to get the screw to go down. And you put it on there, and I've got a little socket. This is a
You're gonna do a deep socket because you
deep
got a
socket, yeah. And of course, you would use a wrench. I'm not having a wrench on here, and you tighten this on. You can't do it hand tight. So if you had a wrench, pretend I do that. And now the regulator knob is limited in the pressure, so it'll be max pressure.
So yeah, as you unscrew it, it can only unscrew so far now.
Yes. Or no, screwing in is what you're trying to limit it to, because you're screwing in the pressure.
Yeah.
Now, when you're setting pressures, you got to keep a couple things in mind here. One is we set it for a static pressure.
Yes.
So if you have, once you have a flowing condition, the pressure is going to drop. That's called droop.
Droop.
Also, we would set it at a low
Named
pressure.
after Droopy Dog, right?
Could be. And then the other thing, we would set it at a low inlet pressure unless this is a single stage regulator. So this is subject to supply pressure effect.
Yes.
So when your cylinder pressure goes down, your delivery pressure goes up. So we would set this at a low pressure, probably around 300 psi inlet.
So you can always get the
set the
max out
pressure.
throughout the cylinder.
Correct. But there is going to be some changes, so it's not.
Yeah, less pressure going,
not
less
an
pressure
exact
going
science.
through, and it's common sense. Almost.
Okay, so we spent enough time on that. Next question is about high flow regulators. Someone want to know about our differences between our high flow regulators.
So we're gonna have fun with graphs. This is our 3200,
3240
3240
series.
Yes.
And this is our
LPHF series, the big hog.
Okay,
Look
big.
at this. Look at the size difference.
This is a big one.
Yeah.
And thanks for letting me carry the
This
heavier
could
one.
be
This is a good workout.
This could be in Clue as a weapon.
Professor Plum did it
In the conservatory.
in the laboratory with the LPHF regulator. Yeah. So yes. So yeah.
So
have
people
flow
were-
curves here.
So we have some flow curves, and in the case of the LPHF regulator flow lines, could you put the graphic up, please, Matt? As you can see for the 3200 series over there, that's a nice curve, and it looks kind of gnarly. It's going up. It's like a ski slope almost.
Yeah.
And then you look at the LPHF series regulator, and they're not really curves; they're more lines. But as with, you can play around with stats. If you look at the units of flow rate, so the 3200 series is being measured in standard cubic feet per minute. And
Yes. Yes. Okay.
and the LPHF series is standard cubic feet per hour. So you can take all those things on the 3200 series and multiply them by 60 to get what the LPHF series regulator is showing. And Bill, thankfully, did that for us. So if you want to look at the next graph, and you'll see how flat the line for the 3200 series regulator goes when it gets measured in standard cubic feet per hour, and it makes it not look as bad. So it's something to always keep in mind whenever reading any graph or any kind of data, is to always look at the units as well. I get tricked on that sometimes, and you just got to be careful. And so as you can see here, the 3200 series flow rate doesn't look so bad now. It's kind of a flat line as well.
You still get that initial droop.
Initial
down
droop
there, 'cause
down.
That'll droop from 200 to like 175 at at 1,000. That's like 1,200 or whatever,
Yeah.
cubic feet an hour, and then it drops down to like
it's a slight slope going down until you get to 6,000, but it's still, it can still flow pretty high flow rates. And if you go to the next graph, it just shows it a little bit closer.
it's a little bit tighter.
So in this case, it works. Where the LPHF regulator drops off, and it'll choke the flow at 4,000 at that pressure.
So they're both really good.
Yeah. So
Now, Corey, what's the why wouldn't I use this for everything?
Well, this one is
what's
is
different between the two?
So the LPHF regulator is not for the cleanest of gas. It's not for.
It's brass.
It's brass. Yeah, it's brass. I mean, the gold makes it look nice and expensive, but it's not. It's brass.
Yeah, now, what kind of diaphragm does it have in there?
This one has a dome-assisted diaphragm.
No, that's how it regulates the pressure. Dome assist.
Oh.
The diaphragms.
Oh, the diaphragm. Oh, no,
That's
actually.
Teflon-coated,
Yes.
nylon reinforced neoprene. That's kind of really.
Yeah.
You can't get that.
Yeah, it's
all
not
over the
metal.
place.
It's not metal.
No,
and
and this
metal is
one,
the
that
cleanest. And
has,
this one, yeah, you can see it's stainless steel. Well, this one's probably.
That's brass.
This is brass,
too.
as I was. Yeah, I mean, it's a zinc-plated brass or some kind of plating on the brass.
Nickel.
That's
nickel,
it.
nickel.
Like the money. And so this one will be nicer for cleaner gases for
Higher purity.
higher purity. That's
High
the word I'm
purity
looking
gas.
for.
And this is only available in brass. This is
Yeah.
stainless steel and brass. You can
Yeah.
get them in either.
But even the brass version of this is still for
it's going to be
yeah,
higher purity.
higher purity than this guy. So yeah,
That's still good.
that's gonna be good. So industrial, really industrial.
Boy, that's
applications.
good. Now we got a lot of room in here. Okay, I got bringing my other wrenches. Oh, the 7/8 on this one. Yeah, somebody asked about, this is a FM 1127 rotometer, and 1100 series is just shorter by 27. And they're looking for for whatever reason, they want a new valve on there, and they want to know if we could buy it. Yes, you can. We have two types. This is brass, and this is a stainless steel one.
But unlike our typical rotometers, the valves for this one are all the same size.
Yes. For our FM 1000s or FM 1050s, we have different size valves, whether it be a utility valve or an HA valve, different sizes for different
flow
flows.
rates.
For these
Those
are
hogs.
really super high flow, and they have a little barbell in there instead of a tiny little ball. Round float. It's not a ball, it's a float. This is a barbell float.
A sphere-shaped float.
Yeah. So this has a, yes. And these are really easy to swap out. Now we have a video, one of our earliest videos is, you can find it in an online store in a product page or on our Specialty Gas Equipment Tech Support YouTube channel. And it's easy, you use a 7/8 wrench, same as I used faucets in the bathroom. And so you take it out.
You can't use a faucet valve to replace that,
can't
though.
use
Just
a
so
faucet
you know.
valve. And then a little trick of the trade, whenever you're putting a valve in, whether it be for rotometers or for a cartridge,
Back it off.
or at home, if you're doing work in the bathroom, you want to back the valve stem off a little bit, because you don't want to have that stem all the way in. Probably want to back it out almost all the way when you're putting it in, because you don't want to have that stem going in, and that'll keep you from getting the valve going in all the way.
Going in all the way, or if if it goes in, maybe there's a slight difference. It's off a little bit, and you're cranking down the valve stem, and then it gets busted. Or you can see, like it would be like, I can't open my valve because
Yeah, you could really mess things up.
Yeah.
So there you go. So it's easy. You can buy these.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
You buy these. We stock them, so you can get them next day, same day.
Are there any rotometers we sell where you can't really change the valves, or is that true for all of our rotometers?
You can't change valves in ones that don't have valves.
Yes.
But
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
no, I think all of them. Yeah, you can change out the valves.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, I'll hear it from production later in the day.
He'll eat his hat.
Yeah, I'm not going to eat my. Oh, thank you for volunteering for me to eat my hat. I'm not going to. I'll have Corey do that. So that's all the questions we're going to cover for this week. Tune in again next week for another edition of the Bill and Corey Show.
Set your VCRs.